So this is my campsite for the night. I cannot wait to tell you where I am and the adventure that I'm about to go on. So this is a community called Lilydale. It's a spiritual community. There's a church, outdoor gathering places. They have circle time meetings, workshops, trainings, sacred ground areas. They do things like hold assemblies where they'll pick people out of the audience and they'll do a reading right there on the spot. You know, and when you're there, it just feels like the mediums are really connecting with people's loved ones. And they say things that make you feel that there's no way this person can know this. It was just a very enlightening experience. I've never experienced anything like this before. Of course, it's good to have an appointment. You know me, I fly by the seat of my pants, so I never plan anything. But if you don't have an appointment, you can walk around the neighborhood, and a lot of the mediums will have a display outside where you can sign up and see if they have availability. So I got one. This one is going to be at 11 o'clock. Cute house. She said walk around the back to her reading room. Number 6. I don't know about that. At least it's not 666. There's just some cute little places in here. There's even a play area for kids. They really have everything here. They have cafes and hotel. There's a campsite that I stayed at. I think this is a little shop. Probably buy maybe things like angels, and it's a little thrift store. They have a museum. There's a beautiful beach. And most of the homes are like 100 years old at least. So I only got a 24-hour pass, so my time is just about up. I'm just gonna go and shower really quick, and then we'll head to a park and we'll do our Thinking Out Loud Thursday. This would be episode 9. So we're just gonna chat. All my Thinking Out Loud Thursdays are like this, or similar. You know, it's just me sitting in a park, just chatting, unscripted, whatever comes to mind. I'm just gonna go for it. As you've seen from the video, I spent the day at Lilydale. This was yesterday. What an experience. Oh my goodness. You know, I'm not, first of all, let me just say this. I am not a religious person. Yes, I was raised Catholic. Well, sort of. You know, my grandmother used to take me to church. My mom never, you know, didn't any of that stuff. You know, they made me go through catechism and whatever the next thing is called, confirmation. And I think I gleaned, some spirituality from that, but I never bought into anybody else's interpretation. So that's what church means to me. It's somebody else's interpretation. I internalize it a little bit differently, and I think that's where spirituality comes from. I could just be sitting here and feel very connected to what I would call my God or my higher power. I can be in a church. Once in a while I do like to go to church. But it's not something that, I don't know if you would say, I'm held accountable for. As far as Christianity, again, I think that's, all kind of dogmated. Yes, I was baptized. I have not been born again Christian. And this may rub some people the wrong way. But I'm just saying who I am. What I believe, the way that I live my life. Everything that I say is not right or wrong, or I don't mean to influence anybody. I'm just saying it like it is to me right now, here, today. I might change my mind tomorrow. I don't know, I kind of take things day by day. And sometimes I do change my mind. But this is the way I've always been. I've always been a spiritual person, but I've not been a religious person. I don't follow a script. Let's just put it that way. So let's talk about the medium that I saw. Come to find out, she's pretty famous. I did not know this at the time. In fact, they have a board there at Lilydale, and they list what mediums are available, on a walk-in basis, which ones you have to have an appointment for. I did not see her on the list at all. But I happened to be walking down the street that one of the mediums that was on the list has a place. So I was walking down the street, and the medium that I was trying to get an appointment with, I didn't know anybody there. So the sign on her door said closed. So I kept walking by. I stopped in front of this one house. There was two ladies sitting on the porch, and there was a sign outside their house. And it was like an historical sign, about this particular house. So, I don't know who said good morning first. I'm usually the one, so I probably say good morning. And, I say good morning back. And I said, yeah, I'm just searching around. I'm thinking about finding a medium. I don't know too much about this. And so this one lady, she looks at me, kind of like sizing me up. And she goes, I'm a medium and I can read you. So I said, oh. And she said, I just have the house across the street. And you can sign up on the porch. So I said, okay. So that's what I did. She has a separate room in her house. So I didn't even go in her house. You just go around, and I sat on the couch and she sat on a chair in front of me, and she starts off with a prayer, which is fine. And she proceeds to tell me things that there is no way she would know, very personal things. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, she's perking my curiosity big time. And the gist of our conversation, well, not really even a conversation because I didn't say anything.
I would either agree or disagree with what she said, mostly agree with everything she said, because she was like spot on. I was blown away. And she was basically talking about relationships I've had in my life. She talked about my mother. She talked about my father. She talked about my husband. We got into my children, my grandchildren, and she just said things that, how would she know this? You know, I'll give you a couple of examples. She knew about my grandson being in the reserves. Now, she did say that he may be getting deployed, but it would be within the United States. So, Stephen, if you're listening, you know, be prepared for that. Then I have another grandson who's serving in the military right now. And she assured me that when his time was up, he would be coming home. So, you know, that made me feel really good. I think the main thing that I got out of her doing this reading was the fact that what I'm doing now is the right thing for me to be doing. She said so many things to me about the support that I have, you know, and how proud my mother especially is of me. And she brought up the fact that, you know, my mother was not strong enough to do the things that she wanted to do in life, and I know this. And the fact that I'm just doing it made me feel like, yeah, I don't know, it just like gave me this power. Just gave me this confirmation that I'm being heard. I was not scared at all. She was so gentle, I would say, and she made me feel very, very comfortable. There's like this bug. I don't want to get bitten. Yes, she said a lot of things that blew my mind. You know, how would she know some of the things that went on in relationships with certain family members that I've had? You know, that was kind of, I'm not going to say weird, but insightful. Let's just say insightful. And, you know, she never said that anybody was standing by me, like as a guide or anything like that. But I could tell she was picking up something, like some, I don't know, vibration or something, because she didn't look at me the whole time. She almost looked off to the side a little bit, and then she would speak. And afterwards, she never said who in the beginning, but afterwards, and she taped the whole thing, which is kind of cool. I asked her, I said, you know, the friend that had told me about Lily Dale and said that she was told what spirit was speaking to her. And she says, well, it was your mother, and your father was there too. And I'm going, oh, okay. But here's the thing. Some of the things that she said happened after my mother passed away. I mean, a couple of really major things that there is no way that my mother would have known this because she had already passed away. So it kind of made me feel a little bit like, wow, maybe she's like really up there looking down on me, or, you know, that was a little bit spooky, but I don't know, it was interesting. Let's just say that. Interesting, that fact, that things that this medium was saying to me that happened after my mom had already passed away, that she brought up, and there's like no way that she would be able to know any of this stuff about me and my relationships and my life and things that I've done. Amazing, just amazing. So I don't know, you know, I'm just gonna say it's a good feeling. Like I said in the beginning, it's confirmation that, wow, there is maybe a spirit world out there beyond. Now last night I stayed in the campground in my van. Now they do have tent sites and RV spaces with electrical hookup and things, but when I went to register in the office, they said that they weren't doing the tent sites this year. So I said, that's okay, I'll just take an RV site. And she goes, well, do you have an RV? And I says, well, I have a self-contained vehicle. And then she goes, well, do you have running water and a toilet? I said, yeah, I have running water. I do, right? I have my 5-gallon jug that has a little automatic pump on it. That qualifies. And, you know, I have a toilet. So it's not like I lied. So she gave me a campsite. So I don't know why my video turned off, but it did. What I want to do is I want to leave you with one last story. So I had my eyes closed last night, and all of a sudden I see this flickering of light. You know, my eyes are closed. And it lasted like a long time, and I was just like watching it with my eyes closed. And I was trying to make out, like, who is this? What is this? You know, and I got a strong sense that it was my mother. I started to kind of see the features of her face. Now let me tell you why this is a little bit significant. You know, in another video I had already shared how my husband and I had sold our home in Idaho and we moved back to Southern California so she could be by her sisters and have some other social interaction within the community that we lived in. My mother died in that home. What happened was I was in the middle of writing a book about being my mother's caregiver. And if you're interested, the book is available on Amazon. I'll leave a link to it in the description. But the title of the book is called Hurricane Lucy, a Caregiver's Guide. So, the night that my mother died, or I should say the morning that my mother died, because I was sitting up late at the dining room table, you know, writing this book. And I knew that she was getting pretty close to passing away. In fact, my husband had looked up different signs, you know, labored breathing, not wanting to eat, things like that. Anyway, I had spent quite a bit of time with my mother during those last couple weeks of her life. I would go in her room. I taped up pictures of family members, you know, just trying to comfort her as much as I could. And the one thing that I repeated to her over and over again was, everybody loves Grandma Lucy. You know, and at one point I do think that I said, you know, it's okay. It's okay to go, you know. Just things that just come naturally, you just say. So I knew she was getting close. And all of a sudden, as I'm sitting at the dining room table, I hear a silence. Just, I don't know why this video keeps flipping off on me. Anyway, maybe she doesn't want me telling this story. Anyway, okay, I think I fixed the problem. I was running out of storage. Story of my life. So I went in my mother's room and put my head on her chest, tried to feel, you know, her breathing, and then I went in our bedroom and I said, Mike, I think my mom just passed away. Can you go look? So he got up and he went and he looked and he closed the door. And so I went to bed. And we talked a little bit about it, and I said, you know, I'm not really sure if we should, you know, call the coroner or the police, what we're really supposed to do. Let's think about this. And I had read somewhere that said when a person passes away, just let them rest where they passed away for a while, to give them time for their soul or spirit or whatever to leave their body. So I was fine, you know, just to leave her where she was and take care of it in the morning. So after we had this conversation, I was laying in bed with my eyes closed, and I see this flickering light, kind of like a little butterfly, flickering towards me. And it was like right in my face. And I sensed that I wonder if this is my mother saying goodbye. And I hear something saying, come with me. I don't want to go by myself. And, you know, in my mind, I guess, I says, no, it's not my time to go. You know, you'll be fine. You know, you'll be with your parents. And, you know, I mentioned a couple of other people that had passed. I said, they're waiting for you. Go. You know, it's fine. Go to the light. And so she did. And she called back. And she seemed so happy. She said, oh, I see so-and-so, and I'm not going to mention, you know, who. And she's in the flower fields. I didn't think this was going to be so emotional. And she said, look at me. I'm walking. And, you know, she had been in a walker, a wheelchair, you know, for the last at least couple of years of her life, you know. And she just seemed so happy. And she was gone. So I don't know. You know, I don't know why she keeps visiting me. I don't know. You know, I don't know why I had this experience yesterday. At this particular time in my trip. I just think maybe it was meant to be. You know, you do hear people you know, when they're gone for a while, having these enlightenments. So maybe it was just my time to discover something else as I travel down that road of life. See you on the road.